Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm Jenny Drasler. Hoosiers are mourning the passing of longtime Indiana Senator Richard Lugar tonight. Lugar died today following a short illness, surrounded by family. Admired as a senator and respected as Indianapolis mayor, Lugar's legacy will live on for generations.
Too often we fail to listen to one another and question whether the orthodox views being promulgated by our parties make strategic sense for America's future.
Even while preparing to leave the U.S. Senate, Richard Lugar never stopped encouraging his fellow lawmakers to work together. Lugar died Sunday from complications related to CIPD, a rare neurological disorder. He was 87.
You'd say without a doubt he's the most important statesman in Indiana in the 20th century.
Lugar served 36 years in the U.S. Senate, known for leading efforts to help the former Soviet Union dismantle and secure much of their nuclear arsenal. His interest in the world around him began at a young age.
I think really what most people sort of assume is that when he got elected to the Senate in 1976, that then it was an avenue that one could explore. But I think his interest in foreign policy really goes back as far as you can imagine. He was born in 1932, so that was a time when world affairs dominated.
Before setting out to make a difference around the world, Lugar worked to make a difference in his hometown, serving as mayor of Indianapolis from 1968 to 1975.
Probably one of the key decisions that he made was back when he was first mayor. They were going to build Market Square Arena. And at that time, you could fire a cannon all over downtown and not hit a person. And that was the first thing that happened that really started the movement of people.
That one decision helped create the Indianapolis we know today.
If I think about the city that he was born in, which was Indianapolis in 1932, it was such a different place than the city today. There aren't enough tributes that people can make to Richard Lugar for helping to start that transformation.
I love this great city. I love the people who are a part of the history and the present of this great city.
Upon leaving the Senate in 2013, Senator Lugar dedicated his life to helping create the next generation of leaders, founding the Lugar Center in D.C. and working with area schools and universities to mentor students, leaving behind a legacy that will last generations.
He always encouraged us to come back to Indiana. He said, your life is not here in Washington, D.C., and you need to come back. You need to go back in Indiana and make a difference.
When you look out on that skyline, when you look at just a vibrant downtown, you think, well, Richard Lugar was the one who really started that vision.
Reaction to Senator Lugar's passing is coming in from around the world tonight. Purdue President Mitch Daniels worked with Senator for many years. In a statement he wrote in part, quote, "Words are hard to come by right now. Dick Lugar was not just the finest public servant I will ever know. He was the finest person. He embodied all we can hope for in our leaders." Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb said in a statement in part, quote, "The world weeps alongside Indiana after just learning we lost one of our best ever. He was an officer and gentleman, father and faith leader, a mayor and senator, a diplomat and legendary role model to millions." Vice President Mike Pence also sending his thoughts on Senator Lugar tonight. In a statement, Pence wrote in part, "As the longest serving member of Congress from Indiana and a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, he leaves behind a legacy of public service that will inspire Hoosiers for generations." Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett is set to join Governor Eric Holcomb tomorrow for a special ceremony honoring the life of former Senator Lugar. The ceremony is scheduled to begin at 11:45 at Richard Lugar Plaza on the south side of the City County building downtown. And our coverage of the passing of the former senator continues online right now at wishtv.com. There you'll find more video, a photo gallery, more statements, and much more.